Hey guys, Alexis Soul Free Leather. All right, so this video, I'm just gonna show you how to use my patterns. If you've already downloaded my patterns and you find no problem using them, then you can skip this video. This is for people that do not know how to use the pattern, or they just wanna test it out and see if this is something for them. In this video, I use a demo blueprint or a demo pattern. You can go ahead and find this pattern. It's a no hassle download. You don't have to input your credit card, shipping information. It's just a button you push and you can get these downloads. They're on all of my patterns on my website, soulfreeleather.com. Click on templates and patterns. On every single product, you're gonna have this video on it, as well as where you can download this blueprint so you can follow along in the video. I'll post a link to all my patterns in the very top line description, as well as the pinned comments. So guys, make sure you check that out. The download includes two folders, a PDF folder and a PNG folder. PDF folder is going to be one complete document that you can print right from there. Do a test piece first to see. The second folder is gonna be a PNG files, and they are all the pages individually as a PNG file, which is a bigger file size, higher resolution that you can use on your computer, TV. You can cast it to your television. You can do whatever you want. Use it on your phone. So, yep, you get those two folders for versatility, however you want to use this. All right, with that being said, grab your patterns and let's go to my computer and I'll show you how to use my patterns. All right, so now that you have all of them printed out, let's just go a quick overview on how you actually receive this. Get a PDF folder and a PNG folder. A PDF folder is going to be all the pages in one document, but they are the 11 by 8.5. Those are the printer size. I think you have to make sure that the printer is on scale to fit, but your printer could be different. But I also gave you the PNG, which is a bigger, higher quality format. So you can actually take that PNG, put it on your phone or your tablet, or if you have a computer, or broadcast it to your TV. That PNG folder is where all the individual sheets are going to be at and located. All right, so we're looking at this sheet. You'll notice a couple different things here. On the top left corner, you'll notice it's labeled and classified with a letter. That's how I'm going to refer to the pieces in the build along videos. On the top, you'll have the name of the product that we're building. This one is Demo Blueprints. And underneath that, you'll have some special instructions, like if you go to the next A. So the next page is A, and underneath the blueprints, it says flipped. That simply means that it's the same dimensions, same product, but it's just flipped. And I do that so that it's easier to follow. So you'll see what I'm talking about here in a little bit. And at the very bottom, of course, none of these are not to scale. This is how I design my stuff. Nothing is to scale. All of your identifiers and your markings and your dimensions is important, and that is what's on the pattern. This is more like a blueprint more than a template that you don't trace. So none of my stuff you trace. Okay, and on the bottom right, you have my website where you can buy more patterns. Yeah, I'll be uploading a whole bunch, creating new products and uploading these patterns. So, all right, let's go ahead and grab A, the very first one, the regular A, and that's what you're looking at on the screen right now. I know it looks a little daunting, but trust me, it is not that bad once you get the hang of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of all of these dimensions. So just an overview of this pattern, a couple of indicators. X's are holes, and in the build video, I'll let you know what size holes, okay? And the hole right here, this big one, that's a special hole. I'll explain holes like that in the video. By the way, this is not a specific leather pattern. I just made this up. This is, just so you know, this is going to be as complicated as it's going to get for the most part on anything I build. I mean, I got basically every scenario in this one pattern. So rest assured that if you figure this out, you can do the rest of my patterns. So this is just a hole. That's what that is. Punched out, see-through. This is a cutout. And anything that's gray is supposed to be cut out. But make sure you follow along on the build video, because a lot of times those are aesthetics and a lot of times those are a preference. So we'll talk about that as we go through this one template. But a lot of times, like I said, those are going to be to your liking and your preference if you want them bigger, longer, shorter, a more curve. But we'll explain that here in a second. All right, so if you look at the pattern, the main dimensions, main dimensions, the height and the length is going to be on the far left and on the bottom, the very far bottom. So far left and far bottom. The ones that are furthest out are the main dimensions. So let's go ahead and build the one on the left for the height. So the one on the height, see, this indicates it's 4 inches. All right, I'm going to go on the bottom. We're going to see how long this is. The length of this piece is 10 inches. Okay, this circle we have to find, not the middle of the circle, but we got to find where is this circle. All right, so the way you find a circle is it is 2 inches up from the bottom, and it is 5 inches from the side. It is also 5 inches from this side. So not every pattern obviously has a hole in the middle, but this one specifically has a hole in the middle. So I will indicate it is 5 inches from this side and 5 inches from that side, 2 inches up. That's where that hole is located. Now let's move up to the meat and potatoes, is these holes here, where their holes are going to be at. If you see this dotted line here, this dashed line, that indicates where this hole, where all these holes are going to be located. How far from whatever dimension. So from the top down, these holes are all going to be 1 inch from the top down. I don't know if you saw that. So from the top down, all these holes are 1 inch from the top down. So if we double check that, you see how all these holes here are 1 inch from the top. Okay, that's what that means. Now we have to figure out where. So from this long side here to the first hole, it is going to be 2 inches from the left. Now this is a stepped way of doing this. Now from this hole to the next hole is going to be 1 inch. Now from this hole to the next hole is going to be 2 inches. This hole from the next is going to be another 2 inches, and so on and so forth. And then from this hole to this hole is going to be 1 inch. And then from this hole to the end is going to be 2 inches. Now I typically don't do it that way if there's a symmetrical pattern. And if you want to flip to pattern B, go ahead and flip to pattern B, and I'm going to show you a different way of locating those holes, especially if any holes are going past the middle. So the way I would do that is, hold on, let me delete these. Alrighty, so the way I normally would do holes like this is I'd come from the edge. I got my first hole, which was a 2 inches here. I'd go from the edge again to the middle of the hole, and that's giving me 3 inches out. Then I go from the edge again to this hole, and that gives me 5 inches. And then I work from the other way. I'll go from this edge to that hole. Is going to give me 2 inches. This just happens to be symmetrical. So that's not usually going to be the case. And so on and so forth. And yeah, so that's how you can locate it. If you were to do it the first way, and you pre-cut this out 10 inches and you're not exactly accurate, it's not going to be symmetrical. So I always go from one side towards the middle and then from the other side towards the middle, and it gives you a more symmetrical look. Now that's how you locate holes. Now let's talk about this notch down here. When you see anything that says R, that's a radius, meaning that the radius of this curve is 3/4 of an inch. A radius of a circle is half the diameter. So to create this, you use a 1.5 inch punch. If you notice that this is a 1.5 inch punch. And how do you find where? How do you locate that? You find the middle, make a mark at the middle, out from the edge, out from this edge over here, right? And that's going to give you 3 inches there. So you can do a couple different things. You can mark it right here, a dot right at the edge of the leather, and then move out 3/4 of an inch, which is half, right? Move out another 3/4 of an inch and place a couple of dots there, and simply put the edge of your tool on those dots and it'll cut this out perfect. Or if you want to eyeball the middle of your tool, you can use this indicator as well. So you'd come up 3 inches, make a dot, then go 3/4 one way, 3/4 the other way, and then ride those lines with the tool. Or you can eyeball it, but I'm not a big fan of eyeballing. As you can see, I like to do things exact. Okay, so we located the hole in the middle. Also, you'll notice the diameter of the hole. I will sometimes tell you the center of that hole needs to be there, but you need to use a 1/2 inch punch or a 3/8 punch or whatever kind of punch I'm telling you need to use. Oh, it says 1/2 inch there, but I thought I made a, hold on. I had to change my dimensions. But if you notice, I'll give you diameter of the hole. So you'll use a 3/8 punch for that hole. Oh, real quick, let's move to C really quick. Go to pattern C, and it's just another way of locating. So pattern C, locating these holes, exact same thing, but we're just walking it from one side all the way across. From that edge to here, that's 7 inches. From this edge to here, that is 7 inches. And that yields the same. I'm sorry, not 7 inches. That is 8 inches. And then from here all the way to here would be your 10 inches. So that all yields the same, but like I said, you want to work from the sides and don't go past the middle, so you can get a better, a more accuracy depending on what you're building. For any kind of strap goods, which we'll get to here in a second, you don't want to do that. You want to be precise. Okay, so now if we go to pattern, well, it doesn't matter. A, B, and C are all the same. Let's talk about the gray cutout areas. You see here where it says radius 1/2. That means that is a 1 inch circle. So you could use a circle tool. Another thing that creates a 1/2 inch radius would be a quarter. A quarter is about a 1 inch in diameter. So like I said, radius is 1/2 a diameter. So you can use a quarter for a 1/2 inch diameter. Same thing here for this radius 2. That means that's a 4 inch circle. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, as far as this cut right here, if you notice, this is just a straight cut. I like to use this a lot, especially on my briefcases and stuff like that, and bags. I like the look, it's clean. This is literally up from the edge, 1 inch. You make a mark right here. Then you go down from this edge, out 1 inch, and then all you have to do is cut from here to here. You cut that off, slice it off, and that's how you get that cut. Go ahead and get out pattern D, like in Delta. Go ahead and get out pattern D, like in Delta. So if you're looking at D, so one thing you have to keep in mind for strap goods like this, from the edge, this marker here is from the edge to the first hole. This hole right here is 2 inches. Then I will indicate how far do you have to go from that hole. You see this right here, 4 feet 6 inches, which is 48 plus 6 is 50. 48 plus 6 is 56. From that hole out, I will always elevate this to show you that it's a little bit different. From that hole to the middle hole right over here. That is the middle hole. All right. That is a specific hole that I'm referencing and I'm anchoring to. So from this hole out to the left is another 1 inch to the next hole, and then 1 inch, and then 1 inch. And I'll specify that, and then out 1 inch, and then out 1 inch. And then from this hole to the end of the strap is 2 inches. So yeah, and that's basically how you use my templates. I'm pretty sure it's pretty straightforward, but for those people that have a hard time understanding, hopefully this video helped. One more thing, you'll see sometimes, like if you look at D, the second page on D says zoomed in right side. That's basically taking this pattern and doing this. All right, so you get a closer look at it. So I'll do that. Just keep an eye out for that. It'll have its own file as well. So anything that looks pretty tight, like right now, it's really hard to see that. If you look at your first pattern D, it's really hard to eyeball that. So I'll zoom in on a couple different parts so that you can actually see it. But don't forget, you do get PNG files that you can blow up yourself as well. It's high resolution, so you can really blow this up. And that's it. Talk to you later. Back to the outro. All right, that's it. I hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you very much for your business or your potential business. I really appreciate it. All right, God bless you. Have a good day. All right, so let's go ahead and print out our patterns where you can find these patterns. Okay, hold on. I'll include a free demo patterns so you can follow along with this video. You can find this you'll see, let's try again. All right, hold on.